Okay, you want me to just do the standard launch intro?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. You ready? You ready for this?
Right. I studied. I practiced.
Okay. Hey, buddy. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too.
It's good to hear your voice.
It's good to see your face.
What are we talking about today?
I got a few things on my mind.
Okay, well, shut up for a second.
How was your week?
My week was bit up and down, bit of the up and downs. It's going better now, and I mean, I love you. It's not just because you and I are once again together, although that is lovely, and I love that and you. But it started improving yesterday. Prior to that, a couple days of like pure and total shit, and then before that, it was a pretty even keel. But the up and downs, a bit of the up and downs. You get that? Is that a normal week for you to get the up and downs, or
up and downs? I don't know. I guess it's more just, hey man, I don't know. I take up and downs versus just sideways smooth. I don't know. You know what I mean? And you could you could argue both ways. Good with the bad, right?
I mean, if I'm thinking like just external work, and then the up and downs might represent some excitement. Okay, I don't want to be totally bored all the time.
Can you put me off to the side and look at me? Because you look like you're either looking below the camera or straight into the camera almost. And so it doesn't work. We got to look at each other. We got to have the illusion that we're looking at each other.
Or you're giving me more up and downs. Hold on. Am I looking at you better now? Do you like how I look at you?
I think it works.
We shouldn't always be in exactly the same place, right?
No, you shouldn't. See, I got a different shirt on, right? Just so people know that this isn't
I changed shirts. This is a new shirt.
This isn't. What did you say the other day? You said Price is Right. Yeah, you know how they like film like 5 episodes in one day, but then they edit them to be different episodes, and you think they're different, but they're not. All he does is he goes and changes his suit, right? Yeah. And they usher in a new audience or whatever, and then keep going. And that's not what we're doing. We're not doing the Price is Right.
Studio magic, baby.
Oh yeah, no, we're actually, this is a new week. I got a new shirt on. This is, I don't know, my Under Armour logo. You can see it kind of faded, but it's a new do, right? My hair's a little longer, right, than last time. It's growing. I mean, this is proof.
Well, I had my hair cut, not that you can tell.
It looks good,
but I got to tell you, maybe people can tell. I have a different coffee cup mug.
Yeah, so it has
pretty
to be
much every time.
Has to be a new week.
Has to be. 100%. You can't fake this.
So let's do. Okay, now we got some housekeeping. We got more housekeeping to do. Okay, like last time, but now it's a new week, new housekeeping.
See, and this is another further evidence. If we were just shooting a bunch of these, I guarantee you we wouldn't be doing the housekeeping business.
How could we come? It's impossible, right?
You wouldn't. It's impossible.
I say what I'm going to say now, which is, we have 74 subscribers as we make this right now. Congrats on breaking 50 and 60 and 70, Joshua.
I love them all as individuals and as subscribers.
Yeah, it's getting exciting for sure. We're on our way to 100 people that know us. That's crazy, right?
I've never done that before. I've never had 100 people in my life.
Me either. I don't know. You could add up all my friends and family. Yeah, and I wouldn't. I mean, maybe not all my family and friends, but wait. I'm jumping the gun. We're not even close. We're not near 100 yet. We're at 70. What I say, 3 or 4 or something. Has
it gone up since I checked before we started?
It has.
It's fantastic.
It is fantastic. I'm excited. I'm excited for the people who are, even though we don't acknowledge these people, they are on the journey with us. They're on the road. So
that's just keeping it real. That's just a Hollywood thing. That's like, you don't want to break the fourth wall, right? Because there is no audience.
Right.
It's just us.
Right.
Doing our thing.
I mean, we need to acknowledge how, like, we might need to say, hey, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. There's nobody.
No, but that's so.
It's just you. So
you can't possibly do it under my model, which is there's no audience.
For the non-audience, they would need to like and subscribe. We're not done with the housekeeping though. So we've had some shorts released. One of the shorts has got over 1,000 views. Dare I say that's viral? Dare I say that has gone viral, right? What is viral, right? I mean, to me, that's 1,000. Well, it's not unique eyeballs, but it's 500 sets of eyeballs that have seen you, seen me. We don't know these people, but they know us, right? So it's getting harder to walk down the street. You know what I'm saying? Without being recognized at this point.
It is. It's a cross to bear, but we do it because it's important. This is important work that we do.
Well, so you hit on another one there that I was going to mention. My non-friends and family, who I'm talking about, everybody's reached out. Everybody has an opinion, right? And the biggest one is, why? Why are you?
Oh,
yeah. Why?
I don't get that one. That's not what I get. Yeah. Okay.
I've gotten why, and not only why, but why would somebody care to watch? And
well, I can't explain that. I don't know why anybody would care to watch it. I don't know.
I don't have an answer.
I don't either. But I think the more interesting thing is, like, why do it? What drives you to do it? Like, what is wrong with you? You maniac. Why would you ever do any of this? But I think, I've had people do the same thing with, like, why are you in a band? And people seem to understand that more because they assume you're just so passionate about playing your instrument and singing. And I understand that, you gotta express your passion. But then it's like, what are you doing? You get together and you record a Zoom call, basically? Like, don't we all do this enough?
Yeah.
Why?
That's literally the question I've gotten several times.
What?
That and the advice that I'm getting on what we should talk about, right? Oh, hey, you guys should have mentioned.
Topically, what we should do. See, I have suggestions like more format and like, okay, you should address technical issues, which I'm like, yeah, I know.
Duh.
I know. We're trying.
Yeah.
Just don't know how to do it.
I think we're getting better, but there's a lot of things that people don't know. Like behind the scenes, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make the cut, the final cut, right? We got stuff laying on the chopping room floor, if you will, another industry term. And so some of these things that we've discussed previously, we're saying, hey, we talked about this before, but no one heard it.
Yeah. And my memory's not so hot for like what made the cut versus what's different. I'm like, oh, I remember talking about this a bit, but then to be able to remember, oh, it actually made it into the thing or not, like, forget it.
Yeah, remember we talked about we touched briefly on some jobs, some odd jobs that we both had, or maybe not even odd jobs. I had an actual job selling cars, and how I sold a car to a guy named Picnic Table. That didn't make the cut.
Forgot about all of the picnic table stuff. Yeah.
Well, we talked about nicknames, right? My nickname and Picnic Table.
Did Keelo nickname? Did that not make it in? I guess that didn't make it in.
It did. No, it did. It did. I think. But Picnic Table was not a nickname. He changed his legal name. So he was a really big biker dude with the leather vest, and the biker vest, or whatever that's called. And, the beard and he was like really big.
There must be a story. Did you ask him?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I did. I was selling him a car, so I actually had to get his information, and his name was he told me his name was Picnic Table. I giggled and laughed, but he was a big dude, and I thought,
no, but did you ask him why?
Yeah.
How'd you come to get that name? Not just laughing at the man.
So I assumed
you can't laugh at a biker man named Picnic Table.
No,
what are you, nuts?
It was more of a giggle, like, and almost like, oh yeah, like I get it, right? He's like, oh, I'm Picnic Table, and I was like, cool, like I'm Keelo, right? So, but he was a big dude. I thought he was as big as a picnic table or something, like that was his thing, right? That's what people called him because he's so big. But no, he said
maybe he's just like a family man, like he's into family gatherings. Maybe he has a checkered past.
Wow.
Like a checkered.
Wow. It took me a second.
Tablecloth cover.
Yeah. He said his mama always told him that he was born on a picnic table. And so okay, great. I'm thinking, so you changed your legal name to that? But no, it turns out he told that story so many times in his life to all his biker buddies and his pals going to the bar and stuff or whatever. Eventually, everybody just ended up calling it Picnic Table. That became his nickname. And then after so many years, he said, fuck it. I'm just going to legally change my name from whatever. It was probably, Marshall or some square name, or something. And he changed it to Picnic Table, first and last. God honest truth. So, I got other stories in that world that we'll come back to, I think, because I don't want to bore you or the non-audience.
You definitely can't have a middle name.
I thought when your name thinking was Nick. I think you were saying at one point, right? That would have made sense. But no, it was just first and last.
I was hopeful that his first name legally, on the paperwork was Pitt, and the middle name was Nick, and that the last name was Table. But it turns out no, right? I think he skipped the middle name field, right?
Yeah, I don't think he thought it through.
Because then he'd end up more routinely being called Pick Table.
So apparently my dad, who I never met, never knew in my life, right? He left when I was like, an infant or whatever, bastard. Well, I guess I'd be no. But anyway, so he left.
You're both bastards.
Right. But he used to tell me.
Legally, technically. I don't.
I guess, in case there's any Keels out there watching this, right? Out of the so many fans we have now watching and listening to this, somebody might be, named Keel as well. But he told my mom that his real last name or official at one time was Leak. But he got made fun of all the time growing up. Like take a leak or whatever, some sort of pee-pee joke. I don't know.
So he
changed it. He flipped it and had it legally changed. And it's like, if you're going to legally change your name, come on, you're going to come up with something cool. You're not going to just flip around Leak to Keel. That doesn't make any sense, right? So I don't know. I don't know if I believe him. So all you Keels out there, don't go thinking that you're going to, contact your long lost, whatever.
She might be the only one, really. Your family there, huh?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think
that's a great story. You hear those stories about like Ellis Island and how people have to they change it, or they'll be like, my name is, and then the the clerk or whatever is like, it's not going to fly here in the United States. We're going to change it to this, right?
Yeah, Vito Corleone.
So I'm like, that's a great silly story. Ellis spelled backwards would be Sille, like silly, and I think that's a silly story, but it's great. That's an homage to you because it is great. Ellis Island like tale. People will never believe that this is a completely improvised show with zero preparation whatsoever.
Well, it's true. So this week, ups and downs. You're talking about the ups and downs. One of my cats, Dasha, right? People are going to get to know these cats because I'm going to talk about this some fucking much. Dasha, who I'm going to probably show a little image of or a little picture of somewhere. We needed to go get him a little checkup. And his teeth cleaned, right? And so I don't know if anybody's ever done this before, but you can't just go get your pet's teeth cleaned. Like they gotta be sedated, right? And put under, if you will, to some degree. And so we go to get him his teeth cleaned, but first they wanted to check his heart and do some ultrasound and look at his tummy and, all this stuff before they did that.
Make sure they're healthy enough to put him under.
Right.
How old is the cat?
He's 3.5 now, almost 3.5.
As they get older, they'll do like extra blood work.
Yeah, they do.
Like, well, we got to be extra careful that your animal's okay enough to be put under.
Yeah, which I appreciate and I get. It also is probably a little bit more of a, oh, well, no, we get this visit and we get to charge you for all this. Then we need you to come back for the original thing you were coming here for. So we get to a whole nother visit thing. Okay, whatever. And that's fine. But it got me thinking, well, one, it was fucking terrible. When they put him, they didn't put him to sleep. They just kind of gave him something to put all of his muscles relax where he couldn't move. So they put him in this thing where he's upside down on his back and his eyes are wide open and he's just laying there. He couldn't move. He couldn't do anything. And so
are you seeing this?
Yeah, I was holding him. I was, because they wanted,
they cleaned his teeth?
No. This was just to do because his heart. This is the thing. They're like doing, like, the doctor's got the little stethoscope. They're listening to his heart. They're trying to do like the ultrasound and, get a good thing. And they're like, oh yeah, he's really agitated and his heart rate is really elevated. And it's like, well, no shit, because we're holding him in this like janitor's closet. Basically, you got us in the dark because you got you shooting the lights off to see better. And like the cat's gonna be super like calm and sedate. He wasn't. He was super like trying to get out of my arms and go to safety. And so whatever. That's why they had to give him the sedative, right? And so he's just sitting there catatonic on his back, right, with his eyes open. And I'm like, holy shit. So I'm like, kind of closing his eyes for him, keeping him wet, and I'm talking to him, kissing him and loving on him. And then, not to tell them how to do their job or anything, but like, I'm like, okay, so whatever you gave him to sedate him, is that going to be okay with when they're going to give him something else later to clean his teeth? And he was unaware. He was like, oh, you're doing and I'm like, oh my God, if I wouldn't have said anything, they're like, oh yeah, we have to go check with the other doctor to make sure they can mix those two medicines together in a certain amount of time and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, you guys were going to kill my cat. So they were like, no, they came back a couple minutes later and said, no, this isn't a good idea to have both of these done in the same day or whatever. I'm like,
we're so glad we found this. Listen, we want you to know we talked amongst ourselves and the experts have conferred and we determined, it's just not a great idea to do this. Sir, we know you wanted to do both of these things today, but we have decided in our expert judgment that this is just not okay. And so even though you might be a little disappointed, it's in the best interest of your pet that we not kill your pet today.
That was exactly how it went. But basically because I brought it up. So
yeah, I know, that's my point.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't tell you how many times I've done that sort of thing, but it gets flipped. It's that like weird, and it's not gaslighting isn't quite technically the right term, but it is this like refusal to acknowledge. And then instead of saying, oh, wow, it's really good that you caught that, because the opposite is, oh, it's really bad that we didn't catch that. Like, I can't say that. We're sorry if you might be a little bit upset about the inconvenience, but here's why. And let us explain to you. Like, I already fucking know why. I just told your ass why.
Right. And now they find, like his tummy's a little upset. And it looks like his, he needs to get some probiotic going. And we don't want to. So now we need another follow-up ultrasound to make sure after a few weeks of him eating some, different diet or whatever, and eating some probiotic, if it gets a little better, then we can see if we can schedule the teeth cleaning.
What's the measure for the tummy being upset? How'd they figure that one out?
It was inflamed or something, and it's like, so he might be allergic to something.
The tummy is inflamed? How'd they determine that?
His intestines or whatever, right?
They looked at his intestines?
Yeah, with the with the ultrasound and the little thing, and they were doing...
Wait, why were they ultrasounding the animal? I thought they were...
Yeah, they did his heart, they did his whole little checkup, basically. Yeah, and whatever. So we got to take him back in a few weeks, get another ultrasound, and then maybe, hopefully, if he's looking a little better, we can skip whatever. But you got me thinking, when I was a kid, again, we always got to come back to the title of our podcast here. 50 is the new 30, but whatever. Going back to when I was a kid, pets were different. People treated pets differently. I think maybe I can be completely wrong here, but no. As I remember it, we had dogs. Those dogs didn't sleep in the house. They slept outside. It didn't matter if it was summer or winter or it was raining or any. Those dogs were sleeping outside, living outside, getting fed outside. They lived outside. That was it. They didn't come in the house. Cats, obviously inside, outside, indoor, outdoor, whatever. There's a mix of, different things with cats. But pets in general, I think people used to treat them differently. It was like, oh, your pet's sick. We got to put him down. Oh, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, it sucks. Maybe you cry and maybe it's, it's not, but now.
Yeah, but it's not now. It's like, oh, like I'm pretty sure by and large, there wasn't a lot of like oncology care for your dog or cat, like when I was growing up, I don't think, most people are like, okay, let's have the difficult conversation about treatment and care and prognosis here, right? Like, and so here's what we're going to do. We're going to intervene. It's going to cost $15,000, but we know you love your pet and you want to do what's best for him. It's like this bogus psychological manipulation that's happening now. It's like, yeah, I know that I love my pet. Maybe you don't need to use it as a sales fucking opportunity right now. Right?
Like, yeah.
Like it's a little dark. It's a little dark. And I heard a statistic not too long ago. I don't know if it's true, but it was like the like suicide rate for veterinarians had like shot up sometime in the last like 15 years because it was like, I think one, it's a lot of education. It's a lot of loans, like any long-term education. And then you come out and it's like, I can't make enough in today's market to justify this. And the cost for going to get veterinary education has skyrocketed. So now I got to run a business. And now to run the business, it's like, it's not even good enough. Like the business has to look cosmetically nice. But at the same time, it's like, who cares? The business doesn't have to look that cosmetic. Can you go to a trailer? You know how to treat my animal and like, we got a good vibe and I trust you and it seems like good care. I don't care. Oh, you know what's the greatest, David? Is when you take your animal in and then like it's emergency hours, emergency clinic time. And you take him in and it's like, okay, well, we did everything we could. Your animal died. Here's a bill for $4,200. I'm like, so what am I paying for now? Right. Like,
so they tried to save it and they did it.
Because you tried. And then like on your way in, it's like, well, before we can accept your animal, we have to have you sign all these forms that say, do you want us to do everything possible? Or do you want to be a piece of shit who doesn't care about your pet? There's a form for that. If you want the piece of shit doesn't care about the pet, you can sign this waiver and say, hey, I actually don't love my animal. And then we won't do everything we can to try to save them. And your bill will probably be a lot lower, but, we'll all judge you.
Yeah, but you are 1,000,000% right because...
Thank you.
So Luca...
End of story. Cut the clip.
No. Because Luca, my other cat, which we're going to show a little picture of Luca. He, same thing. This was like, I don't know, a year ago now. It was almost, with the Christmas tree up. So it was similar. He couldn't pee normally, right? So he was going in, coming out of the litter box over and over and over, but he couldn't. So we had to take him in. It was emergency hours, that kind of thing. And they were like, oh, good thing.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the clips that you're going to post in post, but I want to say I've seen the pictures of them before. Aren't your cats like almost exactly identical? Like,
no, they're the same breed.
Same breed. Oh, well, but you look at them a lot, so you see the difference. For me, I saw like, oh, these both look like those crimped-eared cats that are like whatever you call that.
The Taylor Swift cats.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Is that the name now? Is that what they call them?
They're called Scottish Folds, but she has them, and apparently she made them popular, even though.
Do they look really different though? If you really
yeah, they're different.
You know them personality wise, but don't they look pretty similar?
His faces and nose is like flat and stubby, and his ears and whatever. So I took Luca. We had to go in the middle of the night, and they were
How
like,
old's Luca?
You got him here, huh?
How old is Luca?
2.5. He's 6 months.
The same age.
6 months younger than his brother. So they had to put in a catheter because he was blocked, right? He had some crystals, like a blockage there. So they had to put in the catheter. They had the same thing. They got to put in, the IV and put him under and put the catheter in and all that, get like the blockage out. And it's like, they could say whatever they want. They could have said, this is going to be $10,000 to save your cat right now. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Say no? Fuck you?
Maybe.
No,
maybe.
I'm not.
Maybe.
I'm not.
How many people just like
$15,000, and I would have been like, okay, I guess.
But not everybody's in that position to do that. They also they will also have you sign stuff beforehand, right? That's like, hey, you would never sign this contract in any other scenario. Be like, hey, we have the right to charge you whatever we want, and then you have to pay for it up front, or at least a sizable deposit. And we can't necessarily tell you how much it's going to cost, but you're on the hook for it. And that's just how it's going to be. So when you're in the emergency setting, your back is against the wall and they know it. And I'm like, this is, on the one hand, there's somebody who kind of probably runs the office, and it's not like the person who got into veterinary care. It's not the vet. It's not the doctors. They don't want to deal with this shit. They know what's going on. They gotta fucking know what's going on.
They're complicit.
They're complicit.
Yeah. Because you're right. There's not like a menu you can order from. You can't say, well, give me the, whatever surgery at 2 a.m. that's going to be $800. And then you can see how much it costs.
Or I don't want the full surgery. I want give me the the Cadillac of surgeries, right? Give me the, we're going to walk out of here surgery. Yeah. And I get it. It's medicine. So you can't, there's no such thing.
But so we ended up paying a couple grand for that or whatever it was, because he was there for 3 days, so he spent the night.
It's one of the most common things that happens to cats.
Right.
How can it cost that much money?
Well, so that
what did they do?
At one point,
did they ruin their machine when they used it on your cat?
Right.
And they had to go buy a new fucking machine? No.
So I did question, okay, so it's this much, but you could have just doubled it and told me that price. And what course of action could I take to say, no, I'm not paying that? I would run into a fucking burning building to save my cats. No joke. This building's on fire right now, and I come fucking driving in, and I see there's flames coming out the window. I would run straight into the building to try to find my cats. I wouldn't even hesitate. People think I'm nuts for it or whatever, and I'm like, fuck you. I love these cats more than
humans.
I wouldn't say my man parts, but pretty close. You know what I mean? It's pretty close. It's up there.
Most humans, right? More than most humans.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Would you run into a burning building to save me?
Yes.
Maybe it would help if I was holding your cats.
Yes, it would.
I got it.
It would. If you give me that option, and you're hanging off the cliff, and I got you held. I'm holding you by one hand, and one of my cats in the other. I got his little paw in the other hand, and I got to let one of you go to save one of them. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I love my cats, man. You don't understand how much I love them.
Well, I'm starting to understand it, I guess. Yeah, I'm starting to understand it in a way that's, yeah.
It goes with that whole thing when they show you the stuff on TV, the kids in Ethiopia or whatever, right? And they're starving, and they got flies flying around, or whatever, landing on their face, and you watch it and you think, oh my God, that's horrific, right? And I wish I could do something to help, and I'm gonna send some money. I'll send $100, whatever, right? Then on the next commercial, they show the animal abuse, where they're out in the cold shivering and they got crusty eyes, or there's something. I'm like, tears coming out of my, you know what I mean? I didn't cry for the other thing, right? For the human side of things.
You didn't cry. No, didn't get you quite. You still were compelled, but it didn't quite hit you.
No, not like
I said Sarah McLachlan. She got in there and she just got it. She got into all of our brains.
No, you gotta do this way, but yeah.
But I wouldn't do that if I was Sarah McLachlan because I'd be playing the piano.
True.
You understand?
With one
leg, I wouldn't be doing this because I don't have three hands.
Right, where you kind of have your crotch exposed, kind of like what Tori Amos does that too. Right, you gotta look a little sultry and seductive and like edgy when you're playing the piano as a female kind of artist. You can't be all legs closed and proper. No, you got to have one swung out. You got to be halfway airing that thing out.
I don't think she appears in the commercials, some of those commercials, but not playing the piano.
No.
So you think she should have had that thing swinging out when she was just doing the appeal to people like we have to save animals?
No, they already showed the cats.
Just put the thing out.
See what I did there? But I do think there is a difference. I remember. Like, and now my mom, like, she wouldn't leave a dog outside. You know what I mean? If she had a dog, it would be in the house. It'd be on her bed. It'd be, you know what I mean, on the couch. It'd be curling up. It wouldn't be just an outside dog barking outside all night and wanting to come in and out of the cold. It's different. So it's like, well, what happened? You know, and like, did we all change or?
See, I would think that wasn't what I thought you were going to say when you said it was different. The amount of veterinary care we administer,
well, that too
has been the thing that changed. Because like I know people that maybe they didn't leave their dogs outside all the time, but they sure as hell weren't taking them to the vet even once a year.
Right.
Yeah,
teeth cleaning and all of that.
Teeth cleaning. There's no teeth cleaning unless you got like a boutique breed. Like I've had pugs. Pugs need their teeth cleaned. Good luck trying to clean them yourself. Can't even.
Or a cat.
Cut their neck.
No, he's got a lot of fur. We got to shave him so I can get a better read. And it's like, well, yeah, he's got a lot of fur. I mean, he's a cat. What? So
we're gonna have to shave him.
Yeah, to shave him.
We have a laser beam that listen. Here's the thing. We used to do it this way, where we would shave the pet. No shaving, because the noise from the shaver is so upsetting. So the laser from the moon, it's fine. It costs $22,000, but your animal's gonna love it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right? You ever go, you get your eyes checked? Maybe you don't because you were surprised that I have shit eyes and you're like, you know, so like you go and they're like, oh, we used to just dilate you with a drop in your eye. And then you would actually look like a cat just to bring it full circle, right? You get so dilated, you're like, oh my God, I look like freaking, you know, I look like Michael Jackson at the end of Thriller or something, right? Like
what's happening? But okay. But I get it. Okay. I get what you're saying.
Okay. But pre-dilation, like if they dilated that version of Michael Jackson with the slits, he'd look like what I'm talking about. So now they're like, we don't have to do that anymore because that could last for hours and your head could explode. You could die. The treatment used to kill people every now and then. We don't talk about that much. Anyway, we've got this new technology where we don't need that. You just go up to the machine, but we got to charge you an extra $48 for it. Do you want that, sir? Do you want the extra charge machine that we don't have to put a chemical in your eye that might murder you? No, I don't. Just dilate me.
So murder only because you're going to walk out into fucking traffic because you can't see afterwards. I've had that done to me. You think
semantics?
I've had checkups. I've had shit where they said, your eyes are going and you're going to need glasses soon. I had those checkups. They did the dilation thing, and if she wasn't with me, and I was telling her before I went, I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. And we were in Manhattan at the time. I'm like, I'm just going to jump on the subway. I'll get home. It'll be fine. Oh, my God. I was like trying to figure out where I was, looking at signposts and stuff. I'm like, Lexington? I can't see what this is. It was brutal. And that's a weird one.
Do you know how many people walk into like an open like subway off the platform a year because of eye dilation?
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
And that's a stat that some lawyer somewhere is floating around so that they can sell people new machines because the fear factor is going to get people to be like, yeah, I don't want to die. I don't want to die in the subway. I don't get run over by a subway car. I don't want that to happen. How much do I have? Sign me up for the extra tech. Right?
It would have happened.
Same thing with the cat. The cat gets lasered from the moon. Yeah? It's the same idea. It's crazy. Well, what else do you want to talk about?
Oh, wow, I have some notes. I can go to my notes, like, but I don't think it's going to be very, like, you know what I mean? Like someone told me I got a lightsaber back here. I'm like, it's not a lightsaber. It's just a light.
It took me a while to figure out what that thing was.
So
I thought that was like like that was an open door to a brightly lit hallway.
No,
I didn't realize it was like a stick, like a light, like a lightsaber light.
It's a lightsaber. I think that's the color of Luke Skywalker.
Is that the advice that you get? Like, is that what you're talking about? Like,
yeah, somebody said I had a lightsaber. Not that there's a story here. It's just...
Well, that's not advice. I mean, were they like, you got to get rid of the lightsaber? Or you need to talk about the lightsaber?
Just why? Why is it there? I'm like, I don't know. It's just something to throw in the background, and I'm going with it, right? Because we know it's working, Josh. We have, 70, maybe 75 subscribers by now. It's working. So why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to mess with it. You get that lightsaber's good.
So I physically, I still am active. I'm not fat and like out of shape and whatever. You know what I mean? I like to stay a little active and fit. I used to work out a lot more than I do now. We used to go to the gym like every day. We haven't been so strict with it lately. But we have stuff in the house where we can do, you can do basic stuff. You can do push-ups. You can do sit-ups. You can do jumping jacks, old school, right? Old school jumping jacks, right? Kids don't even know what that is. But she left her bag. We went to dinner and she left. We got all the way to the car. We walked like half a mile to the car, right? Get all the way to the car. I opened her door like a gentleman, right? I let her get in the car. And she realized, when she's putting her seatbelt on, like usually she has to move her bag out of the way or her purse or whatever. And she's like, oh, crap. Oh, I left my bag on the chair at the restaurant. Oh, all right. So then immediately, instead of just casually walking the half mile back to the restaurant, like in a leisurely stroll, right, you got to pick it up a step, right? You got to jog or, pick up the pace a little.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, oh, crap. Who knows where this thing is now? You know what I mean? Someone else came in, they grabbed that thing, her phone's in it. It's a whole thing. So I'm running, right? I'm not running full speed or anything, but I'm got a brisk jog going. Man, and that's when you realize, shit, I need to work out more. I need to get my ass in the gym more. Like, what the hell? Because nothing forces me to run that distance for that long without taking breaks or slowing down or, you know what I mean, or whatever, right? And it's like, damn.
Because human beings wouldn't necessarily mostly do that.
Do you run on a treadmill?
You wouldn't run that long.
Unless you work out.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like naturally, like evolutionarily, most humans weren't running marathons. They might be out for the hunt, but that's more of a sprint.
Yeah. You're talking like if you're hunting your food. But I should be able to run that far without getting to the restaurant and putting my head and hand against the wall for a second. I didn't even care about the bag at that point. I was like, okay, hold on.
Was this a massive emergency though, too? Like what was in the purse?
It's her ID or some credit cards, the phone.
I mean, I know that, but was it like, did you think somebody was going to steal it off the chair, or did you?
It's that's one of those things where you don't know what's going to. You don't know. Who knows what could happen, right?
Who knows? Yeah.
But it ended up just being that the waiter put it kind of right there on the counter, and this was only like 5 minutes later, right? So he didn't even have time to like rifle through it or figure out, you know what I mean, how to call us or anything, because it had been that short of a time. So
how'd you prove that it was hers?
Well, he knew.
He remembered you from sitting there.
5 minutes ago, he remembered.
Wait, you went back without her and got the purse?
I put her in the car because I'm a gentleman. She's sitting there. I'm like, oh, honey, hold on. Just wait with the car, right? I'll go. I'm your hero. I'm your savior. I'm going to do this.
How far was the car that you have to run all this?
It was a walk. It was a little bit of, we were parked. It was a crowd. It was a busy night. This was a busy weekend night, Saturday night, and it was busy. But I made it. But I was like, damn, like I need to get my ass in shape. Like even if I think, oh, I'm doing pretty well, No, I'm not. Until you're faced with whatever that is. You know what I mean?
A massive crisis.
Crisis, yes. Yeah. If it was my cats, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have, I got to be ready for that. That's what I'm saying. I got to be in shape for that. I mean,
oh yeah.
Just give me that chance to run into a burning building from my cat. Just give me that chance.
You got to be prepared. I've got an uncle who would get really irritated when I would wear like sandals, flip-flops, be like, what are you doing? Like, well, this just is comfortable. It's like, and then like, I think he was like, Then I was going to go to the airport one day and he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing with the flip-flops? You going to the beach? You get on an airplane. And his whole thing was like, what if there's an emergency? And you're with your effing flip-floppy things on your feet. Like you can't stand up and stare down an emergency with flip-flops on your fucking feet. You can't do that. You need real shoes on, you young man.
Uh-huh.
Then he slapped me a little bit. Because I don't talk all that much anymore. But it's, but I don't wear flip-flop. I learned my lesson. That's all I'm saying.
But that's what older generations did. One. And two, did you remember growing up that you always had to wear clean underwear when you left the house in case you got in an accident?
Yes.
That was a thing.
Yeah, that was a thing.
That was a thing.
I always wonder too, like, okay, so they found you. You know how many times like things that when you die, they make you shit your pants?
Yeah.
You shit your pants anyway.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's kind of like, well, I want clean, like, what are they going to be like? Oh, I detect a little skid mark pre-death. I don't think so.
Well,
bogus.
Yeah. It's bogus. One, I haven't had a skid mark in my pants since I was like 6 years old. Two,
oh well, congratulations.
Thank you. And two, because I'm scrubbing that thing up. I mean, we've already talked about shower habits and stuff.
I know you burn your undies at the end of the day. Throw them right in the incinerator.
I buy new ones and wear new ones. But my mom used to tell me all the time, "Oh, you better have clean underwear on." And I'm like, what? Why? In case we get in a car accident,
because
pants off.
Yeah. To David, don't you know every coroner's office when you die, the paramedics, the coroner, they're all pulling down the panties.
Okay, but did you get that same? Did someone tell you that growing up?
I heard that, but I didn't like put the fear of God in me.
You don't do it to your own kids.
God no. Right. But I also like I wouldn't. It's the idea, like I would have changed my underwear on a daily basis regardless as a kid, But so then I'm busier now, so maybe I don't change my underwear every day now.
That's what I'm saying. Why was that a thing? And now it's not a thing. It's like it died. That died like the typewriter. That thing went away just like the typewriter did, Josh. It's the same thing. Did
you like how I was eating a homemade chicken tender while you were talking about the exercise story and being out of shape?
In the world of editing magic, Jesus, that was a big bite that you just put in your mouth at once. But we can edit these things out. So I got another thing something happened again this week. And not that I'm just taking notes for the cast, but I kind of am at this point, right? Because we got to give the people
we have an obligation.
Fresh stuff. So, but I'm realizing as I've gotten to 50, I don't know how to take a compliment very well. Even you have complimented me. You can actually go back in the earlier cast and you've given me a compliment and I don't say, oh, thanks. I just kind of, okay, brush that off. But
yeah, I wanted to insult you about not taking a compliment well, ironically.
You? Really?
Well, I'm thinking about it now.
So, but like...
I think you're a real piece of garbage.
Thank you.
Because you don't take a compliment well.
Nice. But I always feel it's odd when somebody gives you a compliment about something that's not like a personal achievement in some way, right? Somebody says, oh, your wife's beautiful. It's like, thank you. And then I'm always like, I always feel weird about that. Like I'm taking credit. She's beautiful. And rather than just say, yeah, she is, I agree. Or but is that even a compliment to you? That's a nice thing to say. I like your car. I like your car you drive. What do you say?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's weird. that's weird to me because it's not. It's like, okay, so you're complimenting like the car I picked out and I paid money for, and it's nice, and it's not like.
Did you pick out and pay for your wife? I'm not getting
That's my point. That's my point. I don't know how to say thanks when somebody says a compliment like that. Thank you.
But you would take the compliment for the car.
No, neither.
Sounds to me like you wouldn't take either compliment.
Neither. That's what I'm saying. I feel uncomfortable when somebody gives me a compliment for something like, oh, hey, those are some kick-ass shoes. Thanks. I don't say thanks.
But maybe that's not a personal accomplishment. Cool. But that's like, at least maybe it's a choice. Maybe what they're complimenting is your choice in shoes, your choice in car, your choice in life partner. And that is
so
a
you
personal
don't feel awkward when someone
accomplishment.
If someone says, maybe. I really like those glasses on you. What do you say?
Oh, thanks.
Okay. See, I have a hard time with the thanks. It's more like, yeah, these are okay. Yeah, these are pretty cool.
I don't think you have a hard time. Do you think you have a hard time with a compliment, or you think you just have a hard time saying thanks?
Look, it's a good one. You got me there. That's a good question. We're getting deep now because...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to give that away.
No, if you say I'm a talented guitar player, you say that to me, I'm always like, because my first thought is I can be better.
Yeah.
That's always my first thought. But it literally comes to my mind. Anytime someone says that to me, I'm like, I could be so much better if I would have just put in the effort. Just like, in my brain instantly happens. I think that's a
different phenomenon though. That's the underpinnings of that I think are different, right? That is like, thank you. I'm not the best, but if somebody can, that's not the same. I don't think as saying thank you, or some people have an issue saying thank you, right? Just like some people have an issue saying I'm sorry. It's like it's a coded kind of admission of vulnerability to give that to somebody, right? But I could be better, right? That's a different thing. That's more of a perfectionist thing. That's like,
yeah. So like a song, right? So if I make a song or whatever and someone says, oh, I really like that, I'm thinking, fuck you. I didn't make this for you. You know what I mean? I didn't make this to get praise. I didn't make this to get compliments. I made this because it's art. You know what I mean? It's my art. I don't need to explain
that's like a third version. I think that's a different thing.
It doesn't happen to you? If you make a song and someone says, I really like that song, your first inclination is to say thank you? Or is it more like, fuck you, this is for me, and I don't need compliments on that? Because I don't care if you liked it. No. I like it.
No.
Really?
I might have that reaction more if they're like, why are you doing this? Then I'd be like, well, fuck you. I make it for me.
Well, I don't mean fuck you. I don't mean I literally say fuck you.
If I ask somebody to listen to it and then they're like, oh, I really liked it, I'm like, well, of course you said that because you're my friend or my wife or my coworker. Like, and I'm like, I can't take the compliment because I have a hard time believing, right, that they're being genuine.
Great that you like it. Rather than say thank you, it's more like, sweet, I'm glad you like it. Not thank you. I don't grab onto that. I don't know.
When do you say thank you and feel good about it?
Well, I don't know. I'll have to get back to you.
Do you ever feel good about it?
No, I do.
If somebody gets you a birthday gift.
Of course. Do
you feel thank you even if you don't like it? Or in the back of your head, are you like,
no, you
don't even know me. Don't you know?
No,
I throw up every time I see Argyle socks. I throw up, and I'm going to throw up on these socks later.
I mean, I'm going to say thank you for my socks, Grandma. Thanks, Grandma. I needed these. I really needed these. You know just what to buy me, Grandma, because I needed, my grandma's been dead for quite a while, but when I'm going back when I was a kid, thank you, Grandma, for the socks that my mom bought and then gave to you to give to me, and then she's just rocking in her chair, like looking at me like, oh, yeah, okay. I got you socks, Oh, yeah, you got me socks, Grandma.
Hey. I'm sorry that happened. Thank you for telling that story. Thank you.
No, but you're thanking me. That's not a compliment.
You could just say you're welcome. Just trying to give you an opportunity to like get normal.
No, but that wasn't the point. My point is I can't take a compliment.
Yes, you could start now. You could start now. Thank you for telling that story, David.
But that wasn't a compliment. You didn't say that was a good story. That's what I'm saying. If you would have said, wow, that's a great story and I love the way you told it.
David, that's a great story and I love the way that you told it. Thank you.
Thank you.
See, that's me.
No, it's thank you. I'll do better next time. It's my first reaction. Thank you.
David, I love the way you tell stories.
Thank you. We're healing. I'm healing.
We're trying to,
Yeah.
So you got to eventually do it. I couldn't do it at 30, but maybe at 50, right?
True. This is true. It's another thing. Like, I mean, getting older. I guess we're getting older and growing up. But personal space. I got another one here. I was at the Starbucks this week because I liked my Starbucks. Okay, I wasn't at Subway.
Did you see any flies? Any flies there this time?
I did, but
in the food, in the food
case, yeah, in the food case.
Oh,
didn't order
no.
any food, but the personal space thing. I don't know how many times I'm like standing in line. It seems like lately somewhere, and people somehow believe the closer they get in line, right, to you somehow, that they're going to get whatever it is they're in line for faster. I don't understand it. Just take a step back. Have at least one step between us in line. Don't be right against me, where when I turn around, I'm literally bumping into your face or your phone that you have or whatever. Why be that close to somebody? I don't get it.
I don't understand that one either. I was in an airport. It was like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And everybody's trying to get where they're trying to get, especially on that day. And it was like, okay, so we get in line to like wait to board, right? To scan the boarding pass. And this guy is standing behind me and he's clearly mad that I'm not standing close enough to the person in front of me. And he's like, what are you waiting for? And I'm like, I'm not really listening to all the stuff around me, but it takes me a little while to figure out, oh, this guy's talking to me from behind my head to tell me that I'm doing something wrong by not standing on top of the man. But like, we're all in a line. I'm not worried that somebody's going to come cut from me. Or if they did, I could say something about it. But this guy is like, oh, this guy doesn't want to even get on the plane. Look at him waiting all so far back. What's he doing? And I'm like, eventually, I turn around. I was like, are you talking to me? And he's like, yeah, I'm talking to you, but we're all in the same line. We're all going to the same place. It's not going to make a difference if I stand, where this guy can feel my breath on the back of his neck. And then like we're walking. Now we've gone through. Now we're going down like the little jetway thing, right, to get on. And he's still mad that I'm not on top of the guy in front of me. And I'm like, and I was like, hey, sir, why don't you go ahead of me? Just, you go right ahead. I'll let go. Please go in front of me. We're all going to the same place. Would you like to get in front of me? He's like, yeah. And so he goes in front of me. I'm like, okay. Now we get to a point where we're going up. We had to actually, this was like a last minute change. So we have to get down onto the tarmac and like go up the stairs. Yeah. So while we're on those stairs, it's like extra steep, yeah. They're not like normal pitch. And like now while we're on the stairs and it's like this accordion squeeze, right? I'm like right up behind this guy in front of me. He's like, oh, now you want to get behind me.
It's absolutely.
Oh, now you're in a hurry. And I'm like, hey, dude, I've kind of had it. Like, we're getting on the same plane. Like, chill the F out. Like, just chill out. And he was like, oh, you want to get up? Roll your ass down on the...
So you're telling a you want to go bro story at the airport after I talked about this at length in episode 2 and you didn't mention a you want to go bro story?
What was the you wanna go bro story in episode 2?
No, there is no you wanna go bro, but you gotta you go bro at the airport.
Well, what was your you go bro?
Going up the fucking airplane stairs. No, I don't have to have one. I was talking about air travel and the inconvenience of air travel and all the shit that happens in an airport and how everybody freaks the fuck out getting on a plane. You just didn't even think to mention your you wanna go bro in the airport plane stairs incident. How does that happen?
Because I didn't think that I was like a crazy person. I had alls I can stand and I can't stand no more, you know? Like, it wasn't like, I wasn't even in the plane. I was on the stairs outside the plane. It just didn't occur to me. Didn't occur to me until you mentioned the irrationality of the idea that you've got a space deficit and people are like, hey, I got to get on. If I'm not physically like about to grab you by the hips and give you a good, jam bone, then I'm not going to get my coffee fast enough, right? So I got to get behind you and thrust you. Otherwise, I don't get my coffee fast enough. And this guy behind me apparently wanted me to jam bone the dude in front of me so I could get on the plane faster. And I'm like, sir, I don't need to jam bone the man in front of me. We're all already in this line. We're going to go at the pace that's already here. We don't have to set the pace, sir. It's already been set. I'm in line. Oh, you're mad? Go in front of me. And then I got too close to him and he went apeshit.
I think she touched my bottom a few times, right? You touched my bottom once and I am like, oh, okay, well, that's oops. Oops. Twice, 3 times, there's an issue. Like, it's like, okay, why you're that close to me? You're touching my bottom, right?
Once, twice.
Yeah. And so my wife, Laura's sitting over there on the table, waiting, right? She's waiting for me to order. And
what do you mean touch the bottom? With what?
I don't know what she was bumping into me with. I don't know, it was her purse or, something on her was grazing.
Like she was turning and the purse is like swinging into your back pocket.
She was on the phone and there was movement and there was grazing of the backside. And she's over there, Laura's over there looking at me and I look at her and she's like going, what the fuck? Right? And like literally lipping that to me. And I'm like, I don't know, but this is a thing now. It seems to be a thing now. More and more I notice this like personal space thing is an issue for people. It's weird.
Do you think, this is like an ageist thing? Was it a younger person?
Yeah. She was young.
Significantly younger?
Yep.
And like maybe in a lot of times, like they don't socialize the same way? Like, so maybe they didn't learn the rules of personal space?
Yeah, but then is that bad parenting or is it just kind of like normal or like what is the...
I don't know. Could you have politely turned around and said like, oh, I'm sorry, miss. Could you back the fuck up?
Right, it's weird to do that. It's weird to have to turn around. I mean, I did...
Why could you have done it a little more politely than that,
I did
that's how I would have done it as a real man, but you could do it however you need to do it.
No, I did the side eye. I did the kind of like look, kind of like, like what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like
they're not going to get the message. You got to talk to them.
Yeah, but then it's going to turn into a whole thing, and and there's the phone, and I don't need to be recorded. And all of a sudden, I'm on the internet, and all of a sudden, our 75 subscribers, you know what I mean? They judging because I did something I shouldn't have been doing inappropriately somewhere in public. I don't want that for our subscribers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't either. I'm sorry about that real man comment. That's not how I feel.
I'm just a little surprised that the GoBro story didn't make it into the airplane episode.
But you might have had to edit it out anyway. There was a lot of content in that episode,
That's one of the other comments that I'm getting that, oh, you guys stay on topic too long. And I'm like, okay, one, it's already edited down a lot of times. And two, just because you want things to be so fucking quick these days and everything has to be within, oh yeah, make sure it's under 30 minutes and all that. Okay, so then that way it's easier for you to pay attention because we live in a world where it's like everything has to be so fast and blah, blah, blah. I can't edit 3 or 4 different things that we're talking about down into a 30 minutes sometimes. There's 2 of us. Remember, there's 2 of us here. We both have opinions on things. This is a good stopping point. I think we have made great strides in the audio. I hope this time, maybe, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's getting better.
It's not a disaster.
We are now on Apple Podcasts as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, give us a round of applause. We are on Apple Podcasts. What I also did, just so you know, on the Apple
Thank you for doing that. That was a great thing that you did, getting us on the Apple Podcast.
Yeah.
It was a great thing that you did.
Apple, man. And their whole you got to pay $20.
Trying to give you a compliment. You just blew right past it.
Thank you.
You didn't even try.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But because I wanted to go bitch about Apple and their whole setup. And you got to give them
I think that's just a cover.
And you got to give them a bank account. And you got to give them fucking $20 to sign to join up with their podcast thing. And what? I did it for you. No, you know what?
Thank you.
I did it for not only you, but all of our thousands of viewers that we've gotten now. 75 subscribers, but thousands
or listeners.
Or listeners. Did you see somebody came to your rescue, your defense? We got one comment.
No, I
didn't read the comment. There's a comment on that video.
What do you mean defense? What do I need to be defended for?
Is it the short? It's the short. Look at the short. Somebody put a comment on the short, and
What do I need a defense against?
They said, "Stop making fun of him. Why it's not nice of you to put the counter every time he says golden or some shit." And I'm like, "Who's this guy?" But I love it because it's at least there's one comment from that person, right? Like, great. I bring it. Keep him coming. Your hero who came to your defense.
I do want to know.
Let's see if they post a new comment on this now, because we're referencing that.
What?
So now I think I heard one of your children in the background. Asking for daddy or something. So
they're hungry. I do need to feed them.
This is just stop before.
I should do that. Oh, hey, I love you too. It's been good talking to you. Okay, so you didn't have to thank me there.
Right.
That's no growth. I'm not giving you any credit for... I'm giving you no credit for growth for thanking me when I said I love you.
Yeah.
It actually made it weird.
Thank you.
I said I love you and you're like, thank you.
Right. Rather than I love you. Yeah, okay. We could talk about that someday too. Relationships and who says I love you first and the person who... Well, maybe next time. All right, I love you. I'll talk to you next week.
Me too. Yeah, bring it up next time. Bring up your stuff next time. Okay.
All right, man.
Talk to you later.
See ya.